Hello. The world, according to NASA, is turning at a speed of 1,670 kilometers an hour. That's faster than the speed of sound. This is what the speed of sound looks like. And we don't feel a thing. NASA also tells us that the world is orbiting the Sun at a speed of 107,000 kilometers an hour. That's 88 times the speed of sound. And still, we don't feel a thing. NASA also tells us that the world is chasing the Sun through the universe at a whopping 720,000 kilometers an hour. That's a total of 828,006, almost a million kilometers an hour in 3 directions. And still, we don't feel a thing.
The staircase of disbelief. So we're going to tie here nihilism to flat Earth, right? If you consider the ability for people, this is what you're talking about, the ability for people to grapple with very controversial parapolitical ideas, or with hugely alternative perspectives on, let's say, historical events, globalist politics, metaphysical ideas, just this sense that the great holographic illusions of reality must be encountered if you want to know what's going on. And there's different levels of that. And for me, a useful thing to do is place things within a sort of classification system of elevating incongruity, right? Elevating astonishment, higher and higher levels of mind-bending improbabilities, right? So in my work with individuals, which is like 90% of what I do, we call this funny idea the staircase of disbelief, right? And let me just explain what that is, because it's dead simple. Imagine a staircase that stretches up into the sky, into the clouds, right? And low down on that staircase are certain subject matters where you can take a step on it, a little step. Let's take an easy one. JFK was not assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald, right? So let's say that's step 1. So that's a conspiracy that is kind of obvious. And anyone who's just looked at that for 2 seconds thinks, well, he can't have done. It didn't happen like that. There's something else that went on, right? Okay, well done. You've just taken your first step on the staircase, right? So you've got your foot on the first stair. You're on it, right? Let's take another one. Easy one. WMDs. Iraq did not have weapons of mass destruction capable of reaching England or America in 2003, which was used as the justification for an invasion of a sovereign nation.
Weapons of mass deception is what was used.
That's right, weapons of mass deception. Weapons of mass destruction were not real, and Tony Blair and George Bush lied. And people who exposed that deceitfulness were assassinated, like Robin Cook, the British MP. He exposed that lie and they killed him. Let's say that's step 2, right? You see where I'm going with this, yeah?
Sure.
And you're on the steps, and there's other ones. We could go through a bunch, but let's say you get the idea. Low down on the staircase, there's some slightly unbelievable ideas, but nevertheless they are true. And once you've taken a few steps up there, you then start to get the idea that the world is not the way you thought it was. And then you get, let's say, midway on the staircase, 9/11. 9/11 was not due to 19 Arab hijackers. First and foremost, because many of them have turned up alive. Fact. Go and check that out. So right from the start, it wasn't. And then we meet, and you and I have spoken to this woman, Judy Wood, and people like that who have got a clear thinking head on the shoulders, who are not swayed by nonsense, not pushed by trends and popular themes, not threatened, who tells us that there's a serious problem on that day. That's a big one. That's kind of midway up the staircase, that 9/11, and it's, as you know, Mel, it's a big one. That it's a world changer for people. So that's a classic, what I would call in the old days, Stargate event. Once you've moved through that Stargate of that, 1 or 2 years personal study, things are never the same again, right? So let's say that's midway on the staircase. And on the next stair, mass shootings are often faked. So easy to see and prove that, so easy. But you see now, if you haven't ascended the previous stairs, you can't believe that. You cannot believe the idea that the US and UK governments, operating under instructions from global empire, routinely murder children and women and men to advance gun restrictions, aggressive mental health care policy, and a sort of, increasing dependence on the state. That's unbelievable if you're not already gone up the staircase. Are you with me?
Most certainly.
Right? Whereas if you have walked up some of those stairs, prior stairs, you think, well, I can imagine that, to be honest. I'll need to take a look. I'm not just going to believe it willy-nilly just because Mel said it, but I'm going to listen to what the evidence is provided with all these different guests that talk about shootings and psyops and whatnot, and I'm going to check it out. And it really isn't very difficult to be a quality researcher. It's really not. You need to train yourself, you need to develop discernment. It takes a while, but it's not hard. It really isn't that hard. And when you look at it, you see the staggering problems, particularly all the doctored photographs in Sandy Hook. Big giveaway, big giveaway. Another one on the midway point. The media is not fair and never has been. Never has been. Once you start to grasp the magnitude of empire, that's not too difficult to get to that, right? And then you get to another one. This is a tough one for some people, because we're midway, we're getting higher on the staircase now. Is it possible that we conceive of a situation where all kinds of organisations, like the United Nations and the Bank of England and Black Lives Matter and Antifa, anti-fascism, Occupy, Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, Women's March, is it possible that those groups are actually bad? That they appear to be grassroots uprisings of people wanting equity and justice? Of course. No, wrong. That's not what they are. They've not arisen organically, and they do not represent reality. They are conditioning beacons, and they suck in the unwary and empty them out. They sort of amplify unreality only to create this extended movie, this long play movie that goes on and on and on and on. Fake polarizations, always fomenting division, always exploiting the weakest members of society, people with nothing, who don't have a chance to sit back and educate themselves, who don't have a chance in hell of that. They are the foot soldiers of those groups. Oh wow, really? So all that anti-fascism stuff and all those good people who think that that's all garbage. That's right, that's garbage, all of it, all garbage. That's a tough place to be. If you can